Well, we've touched on this game already when looking at whether or not Gambia, the Scorpions, would make it to back-to-back AFCONs. But this upcoming fixture, Gambia versus Mali, doesn't just have big ramifications for the two sides involved. It's massive for the whole of Group G in AFCON qualifiers. Currently, we have Mali at the top on 9 points, Congo 6, and then South Sudan and Gambia with 3 each. South Sudan have played 4 games though. They've played both their games of this international window, winning incredibly against Congo and then losing against them, neutralising the goal difference across those games with a 2-1 win and a 1-0 defeat. And whilst from Congo's perspective they'd have been looking for 2 wins out of 2, today was massive for them. And they did beat South Sudan, and it just adds more and more pressure onto Gambia in this game. Mali then, a word on them first. Well, they, as you'd expect, have been pretty solid throughout this whole qualification process. They are the best side in the group, played 3, won 3. They've only conceded 1 goal, scoring 9 in the process. So it's a goal difference of +8 for them, 100% record. And they'll be looking to build on that. If they win this game against Gambia, then they'll have a game against Congo and South Sudan coming up. But for all intents and purposes, their job will be done. They'll be 12 points out of 12. They will be qualified, and that would just be an incredible achievement for Mali. I think they're a side on the up generally. Lots of very good players that have played at the top level, all around, primarily European top leagues. And then you look at the rest of this group and you would probably have to back Gambia, despite the fact they've only made it to 1 AFCON, to be probably the strongest side. But when they played Congo on the 8th of June 2022, they lost 1-0. And whilst that was technically the away game, home games aren't really home games for Gambia. If you look at this game that they've got coming up, which is technically their home leg against Mali, it's due to be played in Casablanca in Morocco. Obviously, there's issues with the stadiums in Gambia. They don't get that home advantage, you know. So they played in Senegal, actually, in their only win in the group stage, which came against South Sudan. And even that was South Sudan have proved themselves not to be a bad side, so no disrespect intended. But that was only a 1-0. And that was actually, and it's probably more worrying, the only goal that Gambia have scored so far in this AFCON group. As I mentioned before, they've not been too porous defensively. They've played 3 and only conceded 3. But if you only score 1 goal, you need to keep a clean sheet to get any points. And I think that seen it in the comments a little bit from some of the Scorpion fans. Not too many talking about the way that the manager sets up. But I think you do have to slightly look at it ahead of these remaining games. Now, the only thing that Gambia will be saying is even if they do lose, the big game, the really big game, is their final match against Congo. So the way it'll go for Gambia, they play Mali. Even if they lose, and they'll be bottom of the group they then play South Sudan in June, and Congo play Mali. The reason why this game's so important then is because Mali will already be on their holidays that have already qualified for AFCON, and so they can't really rely on it. They would be hoping in that game that they beat South Sudan and Mali beat Congo, and then it will just be a straight shootout. Both teams will be on 6 points. That game will be massive. We're going to try and do watch-alongs and stuff like that for Gambia versus Congo when September comes around. But this game's even more important because if Gambia do manage to get a win, an unexpected win against Mali, it will put them on level points with Congo and probably, definitely better goal difference as well. That will mean that they sneak into automatic spots and then they'll have South Sudan and Congo. And let's hypothesise for a moment that they would beat South Sudan. Again, not confirmed, but you would expect with a bit of momentum that they would beat South Sudan, and that would put them in a really healthy position going into that final game against Congo because they would be above them. But what do I think is going to happen in the game? Unfortunately, I think that similar to what we saw in the first game, Mali will fly out the traps. They, of course, scored after just 3 minutes against Gambia last time out on the 24th of March, and then scored late on when Gambia were pushing for an equaliser. Gambia's whole tactical setup is to play counter-attacking football and is to start defensively, and conceding early doors against Mali was a real kick in the teeth. I think the longer the game goes on, the more that Gambia will fancy themselves with the pace and power that they do hold on the attack. But I think they really need to bring the game to Mali. Mali, as I've said already, there's not a lot that's going to stop them from qualifying. They will want to get the job done against Gambia, but what Gambia will need to do is, I would say, loosen the reins a little bit, attack a little bit more than they have done. Maybe change the system. Maybe it's just not worked against these opposition, and really look at how they can score more goals, because conceding 3-3, great, top job, but you don't qualify for tournaments by drawing or losing matches. You need to score goals and you need to win games. My score prediction for this one is actually going to be a 1-1 draw. I think that a point would be enough, you know, for Mali to qualify effectively. It wouldn't mathematically, but it effectively would. And I think that Gambia, they'll have to throw everything at this one. So I'm going to go with a draw. I think that Mali are too strong to give it to Gambia. But I equally think that Gambia, they need to do something, and a draw would still be a decent result for them. And you'd have to say that then, having played Mali twice, it would probably be in their hands still to qualify. So a quick preview of this match. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Fingers are crossed for a great game, and of course, being a Minnow Nation channel, for a Gambia win to set up a phenomenal end to Group G in AFCON qualifiers. We've already seen plenty of upsets. Are we about to see another drop? A comment, what is your score prediction? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.